ML Nation, good morning, good afternoon. It's Simon Chan here. Good evening. Got an awesome show today with a single mom, how she made the top rank of her company. Only 3 other people in her company actually has that rank. And the 7-figure year earner with Whitney, husband. Whitney, you ready to do this?
Yes, I'm trying to figure this out.
Oh, there we go. Whitney's on her phone. I know you can't see her right now, ML Nation, but you see her in a second as she shared this. So, Whitney, if you go to ML Nation's page, you'll be able to see it right now. I'm sharing it as well. And then for those who are out there, let us know where you're from. And, you know, if you have any questions for Whitney, type them in. Let us know where you're from, any things you want me to ask her. And if time permits, we'll get through your questions. So, Whitney, you should be able to see it. I
am here. Yes, I was sharing it to both of my pages.
Cool. Let me share it to both of my pages right now, and then we will start. All right, we're ready. Adam Westwick out in Gold Coast, Australia is in the house. What's up, Adam? All right, Whitney, you ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. ML Nation, this is Simon Chan. I am fired up to bring our special guest today, Whitney husband. Hey, Whitney, are you ready to make it happen?
I'm ready.
I love it. Hey, Whitney husband is a single mom with 2 kids and built a successful MLM business with over 200,000 distributors, and she's a consistent 7-figure a year earner. She got started in network marketing because even with a college degree, college degree in business admin, Whitney found that she made basically little money as a bank teller, and things got even more challenging when she was pregnant with her first child. Once Whitney got started in MLM, though, she was able to reach the top rank of her company in just 4 months and won a $10,000 cash bonus. Whitney and her 2 kids currently live out in her dream home in Lufkin, Texas, with a 50-acre farm with 2 dogs, 3 horses, and 2 cows. So, Whitney, I just shared with ML Nation a brief intro, but please share a little bit more about your background and how you got involved with network marketing.
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of moms, I had my baby, and, you know, I wanted to work. That's why I had gone to college in the first place, was I wanted to have a career. I had a desire to be successful. I thought that, you know, the corporate world was going to be the place for me until I had my baby. And then I realized that having a job and having a child that you want to be with is almost impossible. I did not want to leave him at home or leave him at daycare or whatever. And so I started searching, and I went through a bunch of things. I did, you know, the online surveys and like looking through all kinds of things like that. Nothing worked, of course. And I found this profession, and at first I was in a company for a year and a half. I didn't even know it was called network marketing. I didn't know the term direct sales. I was just told, like, there's a product, you take it, and, you know, you share people, you know, your experience with the product, and that's what you do. And so that's basically what I did. And I started, I didn't ever leave the house, so I just started promoting it through my Facebook. And I built my Facebook. So, I mean, you know, to me, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to need a little more than 200 friends if I want to do this business. So I started networking and adding people. I literally had no idea what I was doing. I had never heard of Make a List or anything like that. And about a year and a half later, I was very discouraged. I didn't think that, you know, I was like, it's not working for me. I need to go back to school. And so I went back to school to work on a second degree. And while I was working on that, I found another company. Still did not know that. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I could just do both and kind of make the same, you know, if I made the same amount of money, then I would have enough to keep us afloat. Because at that time, we were on government assistance and struggling very, very bad. And so it's like, well, maybe, you know, I could make a little bit more and I could do both. And maybe that'll, you know, get us through until I can get out of school again. And a couple weeks went by. I started seeing all this success, and people were really excited about what I had. And I was like, okay, maybe this, like, there's more to this than what I've never known before. And I was in some groups with other leaders, and I had seen them. They would post about network marketing, and they would post podcasts and books and videos, and I started reading those things and listening, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm a smart girl, and I'm very analytical, and so I started like putting all these things together and putting the numbers together, and I was like, so basically, if I sell this product, and if I help people sell products, and I help them, teach people to do the same thing, and I just help people do that over and over again, I could like make a living doing this. And I just put it all together, and I started studying, and it was 4 months, and I had hit the top rank of the company. And at that time, I was the youngest person. I was 25 whenever I hit it, and I was just in awe. That was just foreign to me. I'm from a town of like 2,000 people, so no one had ever done anything like that around here, and everyone thought I was crazy. But you know what? I kept doing it. And I kept doing it. And I built all of it. I would say like 95% on social media, and I just continued to do, the things that I did to build my business and help other people do that. And then I started educating and growing myself, and here we are today. It's been amazing.
Very inspiring story. Hey, for those on Facebook Live, if you like this, please share this, because people need to hear this inspiring story. We're going to go dig deeper into social media and also about time management. But before we do that, Whitney, here's a question. So how did you know? You said you didn't know it was network marketing. So how did the person present it to you?
It was someone that I had known, that she had used to live in my town, and she was just selling it, and I had a baby, and so I thought, oh, well, I need that. And then, she literally quit like a little bit after she had placed me in in somebody's downline. Everybody had quit. And I just, it didn't matter to me, what they were doing. And so I just kept doing it and kept using it and kept telling people about it. So when it was presented to me the second time, that's when other people, other leaders, started actually talking about what it was. And that's where I realized, oh, that's what this is about. I had a very, and I remember to the day and the video and what I had watched and everything that made me click and be like, oh, okay, so that makes sense. So that's what this is, really about.
So let's talk a little bit about time management, because you have a baby. So how do you make it work? How did you get to the top so quickly? Having to raise a child at the same time.
Well, when I first started, I was actually also in school full time, and I was having to drive an hour to school. And so he was only in daycare while I was at school. And so, from my house to school, I would do, I would be on the phone, talking on the phone. In between my classes, when I was supposed to be studying and paying attention, I was making my list. I've talked about that before, how I had no one said, that early on had said make a list. And I just thought, okay, well, I can contact people that I know in different cities and ask them, I would ask them to host a party for me. I wasn't asking them to purchase or sign up or anything like that. Just host a party, let me share this with you and your friends. They hadn't tried or anything. And so I would make a list, and I would contact people that I knew that I could think of in different cities. And I would ask them to do that so that I could network through their friends. That's one of the big ways I built my business. And every free second that I had, I did on my phone, on social media. So every free second I had, I was either posting on Facebook, talking to someone on my team, talking to a prospect, talking to a customer. And that's, every free second, that's literally what I did. I still to this day kind of do it like that. There's so much freedom, and especially with social media now, how you can pick and choose. I can, if my child is crying and needs me, I can sit my phone down. Nothing's going to go away. And when everything is resolved, I can pick it back up and, start back where I left it off at.
Did your friends, as you was really smart, that you asked your friends to let you host a party? Did your friends ever have a resistance, like, oh, what did you try to? Did they ever ask you what you plan to do, or are you going to sell my friends? Have problems with that? Were those issues ever brought up?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I would have people tell me no, obviously. You know, they're like, no, I'm not interested in doing that. But no, a lot of times it actually worked out to the benefit, because they would be like, oh, no, you can't have my friends. I'm going to get my friends. And so then they would sign up when they would realize that all of their friends were going to, you know, buy from me, and I was going to make the money off of it. So a lot of times they would sign up and decide to do the same thing. So it actually kind of worked to the benefit instead of to the negative.
Brilliant. Hey, so let's talk about social media. You mentioned it a few times. You come from a small town, really, really tiny town. And by the way, I love your accent. It's really cool. So you have a deep southern, I guess you call it a Texas accent, right? For those who are listening internationally, this is Texas accent. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a southern drawl, I guess, is what it's called. But yeah, I'm deep in deep East Texas, very, very country where I live. So I'm actually had to drive up the road so that I could have enough signal so the video wouldn't cut in and out.
There we go. That is country for you. That's why you're in your car right now while we're doing this. So
yes.
What are some social media tips that you can share with the audience?
Well, you know, I would say that since I have done it the right and the wrong way, I definitely started off wrong. Like I feel like we would overpost, or we would just talk about the company and talk about the company and talk about the company. And I learned that is not the right way to do things, that social media is a place where you are building relationships. And so when I realized that, you know, this is a place where the people that were following me or that I was friends with, they wanted to, you know, they were supportive in sharing the journey with me, but they also wanted to see my life. And so I learned that sharing my life and being very, very real and authentic, that has gotten me further than anything ever. People, that's one of my biggest compliments, is that you are real. We know you're real. We know it's authentic. When we meet you in person, you know, we know who you are. I share my real life, you know, my ins and outs. I don't try to make it seem like my life is perfect. I share our adventures. I share, you know, troubles. I am 100% anti-posting anything negative or vulgar or things like that. So I keep it it's a very positive place. And also just always networking. So I'm always, you know, wanting to add new friends or network and meet new people. And if I meet people in person, I can get them on Facebook, things like that. And then within the posting, I'm really big on the times that you do post, make sure that you're sharing a handful of different types of topics, rather than, you can't just post about your company or post about your product, because that is going to make people unfollow you or unfriend you and make them very, very sick of your business. And so, and incorporating it into your life. And when I incorporate it into my life, I try not to make it look like, you know, I'm still selling that. Like I just try to, you know, and kind of in a way that they will ask me questions, not just give them all the answers. Does that make sense?
Definitely. And those on Facebook Live, if just talk about questions. If you have one question you could ask Whitney, type it in, and we'll do our best to get to that question. Because type it in there. So let's get back to social media. You talk about being authentic and being real. I think a lot of people have trouble doing that. But what can you share one thing you've shared that was troublesome, or something that maybe you needed help, or things didn't go well, but you shared? What's an example of that?
You know, just recently, my one of my best friends, and was also my personal assistant. She was in my company, but she was way in my downline. We had met. We just immediately kicked it off. We were, you know, it's kind of like we were just made for each other. And I trusted her, you know, obviously I trusted her, you know, very, very well. And she stopped performing. And so, you know, I had to address the issue. And an hour after I addressed the issue, she told me that she was quitting and leaving and going somewhere else. And I was completely devastated, brokenhearted. And since I always, I'm really big about keeping it a positive place, I didn't know if I should talk about it or not. And I made a post or two kind of about it or whatever, but I never was very direct. And then I went Facebook Live, tears down my face, and just spilled my heart to my following, but at the same time, also the lessons that I learned from that experience, and sharing it with them, and my perspective and things like that. And so, that was a really hard time for me, but they got to sit there with. My girls were crying with me. I was very hurt, but I wanted to. That's me being real, and that was what was really happening in my life at the time. And to feel their support in a time like that was very, very, very meaningful to me.
And it also shows like top leaders go through a lot of challenges that a lot of new distributors go through. You're human, and people quit. People like they least expect quit. Now, you had mentioned you add a lot of Facebook friends, right? You add friends. Okay. When do you bring it up to business? When do you feel like it's appropriate to when do you actually invite them to take a look at the products or at the business?
Well, I will see what they, how they are interacting with what I'm talking about. So if they're liking or commenting, or asking questions on, a post that I've made that, has what I'm showing, then, I'll message them, reach out, and I usually just ask them if they want to be a part of my VIP, which is my VIP group on Facebook. And, that's where I give the more specific, post, and it's hard to say what I can say. That's where I give more specific information out, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And so I usually will ask that, or I will post on Facebook and ask, who wants to be a part of my VIP, for a call to action, and then they'll comment and I'll message them and get them added there. From there, I'm really big on product first, or your service first. And I really do lead with that. My best distributors have been people that were already in love. And so that's usually what I do first. And then, once they are in love, that's when I'll, why aren't you doing this with me? And that's, I've recruited about 320 something to 350 people. I'm not really sure the exact number, but somewhere in that range. And that's been almost the majority of how I have recruited people into my business.
There's a question from Australia. She's from Josie, who's actually a diamond director in a company. She asked, so it's a compliment. She's like, leaders are learning on MLM Nation. So she asked you, what is one thing you did on social media that grew the most? If you can talk about one thing that's really helped you most. Is it a VIP group or would it be something else?
The VIP group helps with my sales, yes. But the biggest thing for me has been networking and building my friends list with people that are going to be commonly related to me. So people of the same interests of me. And so getting them on Facebook, becoming friends with them, building a relationship with them, commenting and liking on their posts, they're commenting and liking on my posts. We're getting to know each other through that way. That's been the biggest thing for me.
There you go. Good stuff. Let's move on. Okay, thank you for sharing about social media. Let's talk about, this is my favorite question. What is your worst moment in network marketing? I guess aside from your close friend leaving, is there another bad moment? That most people will have quit, but you kept on going. And the lessons you learned from that experience.
I haven't had too many downs. The only downs have been the same type of situation, just somebody really close to me leaving. I had it happen. I'm good. I think I'm in the country, so somebody's checking on me to make sure I'm not stranded. But yeah, so just situations, very similar to that. One of my cousins was a part of me very early on, and she left to go somewhere else, and she had hers was more of a deeper connection because she had been in the very, a much similar situation as myself. And she was, in my eyes, very successful already. And her team that she left now was over $1 million leg for me. And, to this day, to see what she left is really hurts, because she was in a very similar situation, and it was something that could really help change her life. And she walked away and gave it up. And so that I just learned that, I learned that lesson very, very early on. And that was probably the hardest. That one took me a while to get over. But other than that, product struggles, company struggles, things like that, back orders and stuff like that. When I reached the top of my company that month, we had 17 days of back order of our main seller. And we were very, very new, and so we didn't really have much to offer back then. And so, 17 days of your whole month with nothing to sell, that's tough. So we've dealt that a bunch of times, and that's hard, especially with your downlines and people not understanding and why those types of things happen. So lots of growth and development has had to happen along the way, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely. So when you have those back orders, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with the customers? What do you do to keep them still interested in not giving up and still want to get the product?
So we always just get creative. So that month, actually, we asked our CEO, we were like, well, what product do you want us to put on back order next? And he was like, whatever, y'all can't do that. And we were like, yeah, we sure can. And so we just got creative, and we picked another product and we put it on back order. We just started, promoting that and getting creative, videos and stuff, really getting creative with your videos. So just, if one thing's on back order, then you can talk about something else. There's nothing wrong with that. And so really shifting people's mindsets. So yeah, even maybe that is your number one seller, or that's what your customers are interested in the most. But if there's something else that you're using and you love, you can also share that with them. And so that's really how we work around it. And just staying positive that it's every company in the world goes through growing pains, no matter who they are. It's going to happen with, whether you're in network marketing or you're in, retail storefront. Everyone runs out of product. Everyone has things like that happen eventually.
You mentioned that people quit, right? A lot of people quit. What's the self-talk? How do you get over that? Because I think for some people, they get so discouraged, they can't overcome that. So what's the self-talk that gets you, obviously it bothers you, but it allows you to get back on your feet and start building again?
So, it's at first, I think whenever it first happens, it takes, it can take days or weeks or months to get over it. Sometimes you feel like, maybe it was you, maybe it was your fault, and it wasn't. It's never, what I tell my girls is that it's not your fault. It's not the company's fault. It's their own decision, and it's their own mindset. And most people have the wrong mindset when it comes to how a company should work and how building their business should work. And I truly believe that if you're doing the things that you did to build to where you are, if you've built a successful business or whatever, if you're continuing to do the things that you did to build to that business, you're going to continue to grow and see success. But if you get to, that point in your business and you just take a back seat, you can't expect your downline to just, work for forever. If you never help or do anything, if you want to advance. And so I think a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm going to get to here and I'm not going to do anything, and that's going to get me to here. And you have to continue to double your efforts over and over again. That's why I am where I am. I've helped somebody get to this rank. They get there. I teach them how to help somebody else, and then I go help somebody else, my own person. And by doing that over and over and over and over, I've built 25 or so leaders, personal to me, just because we just do the same thing that we did the first time over and over again. And many people will leave because they feel like it's someone else's fault. And it's just their mindset, and you just have to accept that it was them and it was not you. And when you learn to do that, and personal development is huge. It helps so much. I recommend that everyone in the world that's in this business to read How to Build Network Marketing Leaders by Big Al. I mean, it's a simple read, and it really helps you work through those things and the type of people that you should be spending your time on. And I think it really helps kind of combat some of those issues.
Speaking about leaders, there's a question from Jennifer. She says, what's your best advice for keeping your team motivated, especially your leaders if they're not rank advancing as fast as they would like to be? So your leaders are stuck. What's the best way to keep them going?
So, I actually just had this conversation the other day with someone. I don't really believe in quote unquote motivation. My business for me was a decision to build it no matter what. On my worst days, I mean, I just spent 9 months pregnant by myself, very sick, running the business and raising another kid. There were days, a lot of days, where I couldn't get out of bed. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to go anywhere. But it was a decision that this is my job, this is my business, this is my livelihood, this is my future, this is my children's future. And, I built this business for my kids. And most of us have some kind of why that is very, very similar to that. You have a real reason why you're building this business. And so it's a decision. That's all it is. It's the decision to be consistent every single day, no matter what. And that's how I have ran this from the get-go. I mean, I don't have a fallback. I don't have a plan B. There is no other option. This is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to do. And I don't care what anybody says about that. And I made the decisions, very, very, very long ago that I was going to work hard and be better every day than I was the day before. And because of that it has truly, truly, truly paid off for me.
Fantastic. So talk about consistent. You decided to be consistent. Do you have a routine? What's your a daily routine? I'm somewhat type A, but not a real strong type A. So I do need, I need structure. I need some structure, but I don't have to have, I don't rule my life by a planner. I do this business because we want to be free. And one of those freedoms, is time freedom. And I don't like to be tied down that way. So now that my son is in school, we do have somewhat more of a schedule there because we have to get up and go to school, and I have to pick him back up by 3. So, but in between that, I am taking care of my daughter and working my business back and forth, and running errands and, being a mom and doing the things that I need to do there. And then in the evenings, it's family time, dinner time, and when I get free time, whenever I can, I pick it back up. I, work the business as I can, and if I get the children in bed at a decent hour, I'm able to work after that. And I usually work a little bit before I wake them up in the mornings. So I don't have a really strict type of schedule. I just know, like I said, it's back to that decision that I can't put it off. I have to do this, and I know that, and I self-consciously know that I can't put it off. And so that's really how I do it, and what keeps me going every day. What was a major aha moment, like a light bulb moment, that after that happened, your business really, really took off?
That would be probably in the very beginning. One of the videos that I had watched was "It All Starts With Why," the TED Talk by Simon Sinek, and I've probably watched it over 30 times. And it's about how Apple works and things like that. And when I realized that, okay, so this is about sharing something that I love, and it's about helping other people do the same thing. And when I realized that, and I realized that was also the secret to building the business, is helping other people. I mean, the more people you help, the more you're going to get what you want. It's just inevitable. And so that was really my turning point. Honestly, that was the biggest one for me. Just realizing, oh, okay, that's what this is about, and I've just been dedicated to that ever since.
What is one thing that excites you the most about network marketing now?
One of the things that excites me the most, I really, really like launching new people. and I guess that kind of goes back to the motivation thing. A lot of leaders will, themselves, they'll lose their spark, they'll lose their fire. And I'm like, well, how many people have you recruited the past 6 months? If you haven't recruited anybody, you're probably not excited because you're not getting that new feel and that new fire. And so for me, I stay very consistent on that, and I think it's exciting. And I mean, sometimes it's hard, it's hard launching someone, and doing the same thing over and over and over again. A lot of times it gets very, I don't really know what the word is, but it's where it's like, I wouldn't say redundant, but you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and it kind of gets old for a lot of people. And for me, I look at it differently. I look at, okay, well, this person is super excited, and when they get excited, then I get excited, and we're all excited together, and everyone has that new fire. And so I really felt like always bringing new people into the business and helping someone else build their confidence and stuff like that, that really lights my fire, and that's how I stay going.
So how do you launch a new person? You just talked about, what do you do? Like, just say someone just signed up right now, what would they do? What would you do?
Simple. Yeah, super simple. So I just welcome them, and I do all my training on Facebook. So I invite them to our Facebook trainings, and I have everything laid out there. And I tell them where the information where their welcome information is, where their the videos they need to watch first, the trainings that they need to do first, and get them through those first few steps. And then I follow up with them within a week and see how they're doing. And obviously I tell them, anytime you need me, I'm just a phone call or a message away. And so that's what they'll do. I can tell very quickly if someone is actually doing those things, because they're going to have questions. And when they have questions, I know that they're trying and they're doing the things that I have asked them to do. And so from there, that's when I'll really start working with someone, when I see that they're actually being diligent in the business. Do you,
when you say you do your trainings on Facebook, do you emphasize on product first, or you lead with a business, like how to invite?
Mostly product first.
Product first.
Yeah, a mix, but usually product first.
Cool. Awesome show. Hey, I can feel like I can talk to you forever, but we're going to wrap up the show a little bit. So, but some quick questions to pick your brain. Okay, and this is, by the way, for those on Facebook Live, if you like this, please share this, so that's how we know. See, this is my second favorite part. These are little quick questions, and these could be 1 or 2 sentence answers. So the first one is, Whitney, what is one of your favorite success quotes that motivates you?
Oh, a success quote. I don't know that I can quote exactly. I don't like being on the spot. I think the other day was one of the things was I was watching, and it was about motivation, and it was like, there's really no such thing as motivation. Inspiration is huge, but there's really no such thing as just motivation. And so that was something I really took to heart, and really, it was like a 45-minute video that I had watched about that, and what it really means to be motivated. And but I don't know the exact quote of what she said.
Okay, so let's move on. What is one habit that's helped you become successful?
Always networking on purpose. So always, building new friends, building new relationships. I'm very I do that very purposefully and diligent. Every day I focus on that. So it's a good habit that I have.
What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
To put others first. To put, other people's happiness and success first. And also within that, you can't decide what someone else wants. If you expect people to, build a business to the top, and that's not what they want to do, then you're going to be let down. They're going to be let down. So instead, just supporting every person in what they want, and you helping them get what they want. And when you do that, obviously you're going to build, and it's going to bring you eventually to what you want.
What's your favorite prospecting tool? So say someone is interested. Do you send them a qualified prospect? Do you send them a link to an online video, or do you do a Zoom? Do you call them? What do you like to use?
I usually use Facebook Messenger, and I talk, answer their questions, and then I will send them. I have my own video, so I'll send them my own video about my story.
Aside from Facebook Messenger, do you have any other online resources like a Dropbox or Evernote or favorite app on your phone that you could recommend?
No, I just recently started using a CRM, the Nutshell, but I haven't used it for prospecting yet. It does have it, I just haven't tapped into it, but I have tapped into it for customers, and I'm really loving it so far.
And which CRM is it? Repeat that again.
Nutshell.
Okay. What you had mentioned Big Al's book, How to Build MLM Leaders, but any other book you could recommend to MLM Nation?
Sure. So I'm all about women's empowerment. So Girl Code, GoPro, anything by Big Al is my jam. I love him. And for leadership, John C. Maxwell, definitely.
Classic stuff. And here's the last question, the $1 million question. You ready?
Yes.
So imagine you had to start all over again, and you knew no one, so you didn't even know your kids, because you're kind of like an alien that went to another planet, but they spoke English. But you had all your current knowledge, skills, and wisdom. What's the first thing you would do, or the first place you go to find prospects and build an MLM business from scratch?
I would go to Instagram. Because I have built Facebook, but I think Instagram is very interesting. And so that is where, if I was going to start all over, I would go to Instagram.
Hey, what would you post on Instagram? What would you do on Instagram?
Lots of networking and building an Instagram following, and then posting content that's going to grab attention. Fantastic.
Hey, Whitney, as you wrap up, any last words or advice? And then what's the best way our listeners can connect with you?
My advice is to decide that your business is going to be a top priority to you, that you're going to build no matter what comes out your way or no matter what anyone else says. They're not paying your bills. You are, and you are going to build what makes you happy and what fulfills your passion. And the best way to connect with me is on my Facebook at Whitney Husband.
MLM Nation, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And today you've been hanging out with Whitney Husband. So keep up the momentum and go to MLMNation.net and type in Whitney, WHITNEY at the search bar. And the show notes and all the nuggets of wisdom will be right there. In order to be successful in network marketing, you must help others. So Whitney, thanks again for sharing your valuable time with MLM Nation. We're grateful to you, and we appreciate you for having a positive impact on millions of distributors worldwide. Thank you so much again, Whitney, and God bless you.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, Whitney, that was awesome. And hang on there, Whitney. I'd like to talk to you personally for a minute, but let me just wrap up this Facebook Live feed. Hey, those on Facebook Live, awesome show for Whitney Husband. Make sure you connect with her. I've tagged her on this post, so connect with her, follow her, thank her, and really good stuff. And like she says, no such thing as motivation. It's inspiration. Go make it happen and do it daily. Consistent action. This is Simon Chan. I'm here with Whitney Husband. That's it for the show. Go out there. Now's your turn. Remember, we're in the profession to help others. So go out there and have a positive impact on someone's life today. God bless you all.